Moments ago, President Trump bid farewell to the king and queen there at Windsor Castle, as now it's time to get down to politics.
Absolutely, and specifically trade and tariffs. The UK wants relief from the president's recently imposed steel and aluminum tariffs. For more on this, let's welcome in Hilary Fordwich, our normal business contributor, along with being a royal expert, and Alex Phillips, former member of the European Parliament. So the royals, Hilary, they rolled out the red carpet, as they always do for that second state visit. A lot of pageantry, but President Trump, First Lady, royal family, breaking bread at a table measuring 51 yards, more than half of an American football field. Take a look.
Allow me to propose a toast to President Trump and the First Lady, and to the health, prosperity, and happiness of the people of the United States of America.
On behalf of all Americans, I offer a toast to one of the great friendships, to two great countries, and to His Majesty, King Charles III, a very, very special man, and also a very, very special queen.
Hilary, you and I were talking yesterday morning about how it took 5 days to decorate that table. What was your biggest takeaway from what we saw during the entire day yesterday?
Well, pleasure to be back with you again, Mark. And also, I think that what was most important, actually, I think, as a takeaway, was that President Trump, what is he known for? I don't think there are many people who would say his main attribute is his eloquence and his diplomatic position, because normally he obviously goes off script, and there's been a lot of criticism of his rhetoric from those that aren't supporters. I can't imagine that anyone could say that wasn't a speech that was extremely diplomatic. And he was, again, I believe, articulate and extremely elegant. He did stay on script. And I think he actually acknowledged even things that aren't really his normal sort of political bent, such as he acknowledged the then Prince Charles, now King Charles. When he was Prince Charles, he spent his entire life being dedicated to the environment, and President Trump acknowledged that. He also was obviously looking forward to the future, because he acknowledged that King Charles has raised a great son in Prince William. And there's been speculation that was a little tiny swipe, perhaps, at the fact that his whinging ginger brother hasn't done quite as well. But I do think that would be the biggest takeaway I have. And this set the stage for today, which, as you mentioned, is far more political. I think it couldn't have been better. And also, most importantly, there were no gaffes whatsoever yesterday. So what on earth will the left-leaning media pick on with regard to President Trump's successful visit? I don't know.
Yeah, it really was stunning to watch everything play out yesterday. Alex, it was really quite the spectacle, from the greeting right out of the helicopter to the carriage ride, the military, the flyover, the dinner. What stood out to you most about the day's festivities?
You know, it's not what, it's who. It has to be the Duchess of Cambridge. She looks sensational. They've put her front and centre in all of this, and they've done it for a reason. She has spent days that we've learned preparing for this occasion. There she was, sat next to the president at the state banquet. There's a beautiful picture circulating in the UK press of the two of them exchanging the warmest of smiles and laughter. And she has been such a credit to this nation. She's looked sensational. She's had so much decorum. As Americans know, as the world knows, this is a mother who's been battling cancer. And I think she has done an extraordinary job representing the country, and rightly so. I'm glad, actually, that yesterday we used our wonderful royal family to ingratiate the president, to make him feel welcome and loved and special, because our horrible leftist government really need to have a dressing down from the United States. I'm waking up this morning to yet more awful news in the United Kingdom about quite the dire situation we're in. And I hope, actually, and this is going to sound quite dramatic, I hope, rather than Donald Trump being mollified and having warm and cuddly feelings for the United Kingdom and going softly on us, I hope at Chequers he reads the rule book to Sir Keir Starmer. I hope he uses tariffs as leverage to intervene in our politics. I hope he tells Sir Keir Starmer we desperately need free speech. We've got to control migration. We need to bring down energy bills by getting rid of all the net zero madness, because we are in a desperate circumstance. And a lot of Brits like me are looking at this state visit as an opportunity for America to help us.
Yeah, no, great point.
Absolutely. So, Hilary, I mean, today the real work begins, as obviously, as Alex was alluding to, the policy, the politics, obviously President Trump, Prime Minister Starmer, meeting, talking tariffs for now. UK steel and aluminum facing 25% tariffs. Hilary, as we mentioned, you're one of our top business experts. Why is it so important that there be a trade adjustment on steel between the UK and the US?
Well, Mark, it actually links back to the brilliant point that Alex just made when she was saying, like, we need the US now to help us because of the state the UK is in. By the way, every 45 minutes, a millionaire leaves because of the tax policies, the lack of business policies. By the way, not one member of the Labour and any Labour MP has ever been in business. That tells you all you need to know really about that government. They must think money comes out of the sky. Now to your question, and basically this is why people in the town of Windsor are wearing Make Britain and Make England Great Again, mega Make England Great Again. But with regard to steel, it's so important because the industrial north is basically historically based on coal, but also a lot of steel manufacturing there. Also, very importantly, in terms of business-wise, is the deal with regard to the data centers, which are generated by these nuclear facilities that will be built up by Hartlepool up on the northeast shore of England. Why is that so important? Because to this day, the Labour government continues to purchase from Russia certain elements of nuclear fuel, which is not good. And last but not least, there is also a transatlantic pact and development in terms of the concern, which has always been the wastage from nuclear facilities, that nuclear waste material being turned into electricity. So extremely good for data centers, for jobs, for investment. I believe there are estimated to be about 12,000 new jobs, which, to Alex's point about help us, the Brits really need.
All right. Thank you both for your expertise this morning. Hilary and Alex, appreciate you. And again, as you can see at the bottom of our screen, 9:20 a.m. Eastern time, that is when we expect there to be a news conference with Donald Trump and Keir Starmer. Thank you all so much.
Pleasure.